This week on The Loud Quiet, empty nest nostalgia, the holiday foods we still crave.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Loud Quiet. We are so excited to share with y'all that our book is in the final stages of being ready. The cover is done, the manuscript is done. It is really just getting formatted right now and basically getting put into a physical book that we will be able to share with y'all very soon. So if you'd like to be on our list that will be getting the real life up to date timeline of everything, you can head on over to our website, theloudquiet.com, and click the book button, and there's a place for you to sign up to be on that list.
Yeah, coming soon. It's
Very
getting real.
soon, I know. Yep.
It's getting real. And something that is coming out sooner than our book is Christmas. Christmas is a period that is filled with nostalgia. And we were actually in a conversation, even before we were getting into the season, about nostalgic foods. And I know that this season has a lot that is associated with the food, and you remember it associated with Christmas and family and all that. But food has a lot of nostalgia, even beyond that, as we were talking to some folks. So we wanted to go through and have an episode today talking about foods. So as we get into the season, we'd asked a question out on the Loud Quiet Facebook community group of, what do you associate with the season? And I love Mark Ronick shared his answer, which is candy canes. And it's something so simple. But what I love about it is it's so simple, and yet 100% you think about candy canes and you immediately think of the holiday season.
But do you remember when you would get a candy cane in your stocking and be like, okay. I would always toss it to the side. That was not ever one of, but I did love the soft, chewy ones.
I don't know that I can agree with you that would talk. I love candy canes.
Did you see? Yeah.
But here's, let me differentiate. I really didn't like, do you remember the tiny little candy canes that you'd pass out at school or taped to the back of some card or something? Not a fan. But give me a good sized candy cane. I was all right with that.
And I liked the fruit flavored ones.
I know. Yeah, trick it up a bit.
I liked those.
So thanks, Mark, for giving us that. And Mark said his is mostly the traditional ones, but I did. Give me the grape flavor. There'd be kind of a sour apple. Basically, was it Jolly Ranchers before Jolly Ranchers?
Yeah, I know now they have Skittles, has all flavors of them and everything. So yeah, I don't remember what the brand was that did the ones, but yeah.
Brand. Can't even imagine the brand. Well, I will start with the one food that it is my number one. When I think of holiday, I think of this food, and it is Texas trash.
Yes.
And for those that don't know what that is, if you're not from this region, it's our version of Chex Mix.
Didn't you used to always make it for Thanksgiving too? I thought it was always around at Thanksgiving, was it not?
Well, I'm glad you said that because now I can start adding it.
I know,
I don't remember that, but
I
maybe.
thought it was. Maybe not. Maybe that was just in my family because my dad would make it too. And that's funny because it's always the dad that makes it.
Yeah, why is that our thing?
I don't
Probably
know.
because we like the snacks. And what I love about it is it cooks for about an hour as you stir it multiple times. Well, all those seasonings start to filter throughout the house. And what's so hard is you can't eat it right as it comes out of the oven because then it's chewy. You have to sit and wait. And that is such torture to be able to prepare it and have to wait.
Did your dad I remember my dad used to put newspaper out on the table and then he'd dump it out on that. Yeah. And I don't know.
What was he doing with that?
I don't know. I don't know if there was I don't know what his recipe looks like versus the recipe that you made. I don't know if there was more grease or I don't know. It just has butter in it. So I don't know. But yeah, he would always dump it out, maybe because he was making more batches.
Oh.
So yes, we look forward to that one every year. The kids love when the Texas trash is sitting in the container that it sits in on the counter and everybody just goes by and snacks on it all day long.
And it's one handful at a time. And then suddenly you realize you've eaten 3/4 of the pan.
Just very easy to eat.
Yes.
As our one thing I remember making and my mom made and then we made together with Tegan when we would get together to do our baking is they're called haystacks. At least that's what we called them. And basically it's butterscotch morsels melted and the chow mein noodles that you buy in the La Choy blue round tub and you just mix those together. And they look like little haystacks. And oh man, I mean, I could down some of those.
And that's one that I don't recall growing up. I'd have to
Mhm.
check in with my sister to make sure. That's one that I feel like you brought to it. And yeah, that's really because it gets all the right notes, the
Mhm.
butterscotch, the sweet, and then that crunch of the
And
chow mein.
I haven't made them in years, and I made a butterscotch cake for my dad's birthday on Thanksgiving Day.
That was good.
And so there's some morsels still sitting, and I was like, huh, if I just melt those in a little ramekin, because we have the chow mein noodles, I was like, I can make a few little haystacks. And
I wonder if have you just come up with a new dip? Like it's like
yeah, but the
butterscotch
chow mein
fondue.
noodles are too,
I know.
they're too skinny to
Well,
dip
no,
it
I would
in, but
hold
yeah.
like 4 and I'd do a mini haystack. Yeah, so
So yeah, so that was one that I love. And again, yes, you could smell it as the butterscotch was melting on the stove, along with and smells, I think, are a lot of
oh well, so much of
things
and it's
that
science.
it's that's
You smell and
you smell
nostalgia.
something and it just brings you back to. And so I remember walking into the house around December, and you'd smell, my mom would make this spice tea
Hmm.
in the crock pot, and yeah, you just knew, or sometimes on the stove too, but you just knew it's Christmas time. I can smell the spiced tea
Yeah.
across the house.
I don't recall any spiced tea in my house, but as you said that, and we didn't talk about this ahead of time, I think my mom used to just boil
Mhm,
cinnamon
the
sticks and
cloves
cloves
and the
and just use
orange.
that as a
Yep,
fragrance throughout
my
the
mom would do
house.
that too. Yep,
Yeah.
same.
And
Yep.
I guess the closest, I guess maybe my family was a little more boozy than yours. I remember my dad making his glühwein
Well,
bowls.
yeah.
And so that
Mhm.
would bring a smell to the house.
Yeah. But that's, it's true. Back then, we didn't have all the scent diffusers that we had. So
Or
our
they
moms,
sucked.
yeah,
I like that's the thing. They'd be
yeah.
so
So
chemically
our moms
gross.
just did it on the stove.
You know
So,
what? Maybe we need to get back to that. It's probably a lot better for our health if we were boiling cinnamon sticks than
yeah, but
taking
I
some
guess,
chemical
did they
fragrance
just
in.
keep that stove going for?
And
I
sadly,
know,
these
I
are
don't
memories that
know.
are going to be
That's,
lost on my side of the
uh-huh.
house. Yeah, and there's some things that were memories from my mom that she made. We were talking about this. Not all the Christmas treats were things that were my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I I think it's because Christmas is a very sweet treat holiday, and I'm more savory. That's why I migrate to the Texas trash. My mom, what she would do as her homemade gifts that she'd give out to friends was her peanut brittle. And she was
Mm-hmm.
legendary for her peanut brittle. And she would make it, the candy thermometer, and there was a specific moment that it had to come off. And I still remember the frustration if she'd burn it or under it. I never was a big peanut brittle
Yeah.
fan. I bet I'd like it now. I feel like I missed out. But that was always, and I mean days upon days that she was
Mm-hmm.
making that because that was her gift for friends and family.
Yeah. I remember coming when I became a part of your family, coming around at Christmas time, and yes, seeing the bags of peanut brittle. And yeah, it's not my favorite either. I don't know. And even when we've been to like Arkansas and you buy Juanitas, if anyone's from Arkansas or has been through, that's everyone goes to Juanitas and gets the tub of
I
peanut
don't
brittle.
remember this Juanitas. What city? Is this Hot Springs?
Oh, it's all
it's all
yeah,
over.
all over. But I mean, I remember it from, yes, Arkadelphia,
Uh,
Hot Springs area. But you saying that, my mom used to always make fudge and make several kinds of fudge. And we haven't done that in years either.
I still remember. Maybe it's been a couple years, but I remember her making that.
Right, yeah.
And I'm not a huge
Mhm.
fudge guy, but I remember
Oh,
that
the
being such a
caramel
big.
fudge is so good. Oh my gosh. See, I'm just sitting here now. I'm remembering so many other things. And my
this episode is not for y'all, by the way. You're
And
just along for the ride.
my
We're just gonna
mom will be
enjoy.
listening to this when it comes out later this week. So maybe there'll be some fudge at Christmas time this year. I'll just do
Wait,
it subliminal.
do you realize you did
I
that?
can't say that word. I'll send a subliminal message. Fudge.
You said that in the most sweaty balls NPR voice that I think I've heard.
Which, oh my gosh, yesterday, we'll
Yeah.
have to
Does
share
anybody
this
have
aside.
sweaty
I
balls
know,
on there?
We have to share this aside. We were at our nephew's recital. He plays the electric guitar. And I mean, the lady that was introducing the kids from the music school, she was NPR sweaty balls. And then my older brother was sitting in front of me, and he turned around and I said, "Oh my gosh, she's also Will Ferrell's wife when they do the piano." So there's just a fun aside for
so there you go. We brought in sweaty balls was not a part of our tradition. One that was and one that I enjoyed. It was always she would give this out too. Maybe I'm revealing too much because she'd give the peanut brittle to some and then the tea ring to some.
Depending on what list you were on.
Are you the A list or the B list? But it was her tea ring, and it was a dough wrapped. It had some of the candied fruits and then raisins and that sort of thing in it, and it had a lot of frosting on it. And that's what we would eat as our sweet that we'd have in the morning of Christmas morning, and it was tasty.
And I remember having that too, and I was like, I liked it except for the candied fruit. I was like, can we make them without the candied fruit?
Yeah, if it was just like a raisin and some kind of cinnamony sort of thing.
Well, and that, going back to sweaty balls, date balls, that was one that I loved those too. Like, I feel like a lot of the Christmas snacks and treats are little bites, like, which you don't have around all the time at other holidays. But I feel like you could fill a tin with the haystacks, the date balls, and the date balls were, and again, it's one that I don't make because it takes a little bit more effort. But yeah, you take the chopped up dates and I don't know I can't even remember what else goes. Maybe Rice Krispies, and then you roll it in coconut. Oh, they're so good.
That's why I'm not a huge fan of it, because of the coconut.
But I've made some without the coconut because I know you don't like coconut, which is why I don't ever get Italian cream cake anymore, which was one of my favorite desserts at Christmas time. But once Rick,
get whatever dessert you want,
because once Rick became a part of my family, my mom was like, "Oh, Rick doesn't like it, so I won't make it," because you were the first one that entered in. Let's bring
another media reference in here. Then that's so Four Christmases, where Vince is over at Reese Witherspoon's character's mom's house, and they're all just fawning over him, and she's out being ignored. So
exactly.
Yes.
So yes, I don't ever get the Italian cream cake anymore.
Watch out for those jumps. Well, one that we do agree on,
yes,
and has been a tradition in your family from the beginning of time, and was introduced to my family much later, but thank God it's there. And what we do today is Mexican food.
And when my family moved to San Antonio I was in second grade, that was what we started.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it might have been at a restaurant because our church was downtown. And so by the time you finish Christmas Eve service, 30 minutes to get back to your house. So we started, doing restaurants, and sometimes we would, cook too. But that has been a tradition that has stuck. And yes, you were very excited to see that that's what my family's tradition was on Christmas Eve.
I made you get rid of coconut, but I got to bring in tamales into our, and that's something I absolutely love. Is that, I could rip through a dozen tamales on my own, which is dangerous.
Yes, I know, and that's. When everyone is there, we have to allot for the
there's Rick's
amount
tamales.
the amount of corn husks that are going to be sitting on the table.
Right. We need a separate bag for the corn husk. We talk about these as these are our memories. These are our nostalgias. These are our things. They're things though that are like we just do. We're planting the seeds of nostalgia for our kids, which is kind of fun. I don't think about that. Texas Trash is going to be our kids' nostalgia.
Which I didn't really, I've always thought about it because, at certain years, if I'm like, oh, maybe I won't do that. And then the kids will say, wait, we haven't had this yet. But Tegan, the other day, we were talking about appetizers for some reason. She's like, oh, I love the Christmas appetizers. And I was thinking, gosh, what do I do? Yeah, the Christmas Day appetizers. I was like, what do I do for Christmas Day appetizers that are, and she said, Mom, the pickle platter, which, like the relish tray, everyone calls it, it's got all the different kinds of pickles and olives. And she was like, oh, and then all the dips, which I don't think I even make any of those. I just buy them. There's certain ones that we love from places. And the Texas Trash will be out. She's like, I just love the Christmas appetizers. And I was like, okay, well, that's
Didn't
good.
you have to ask her, so which
I did.
dips?
And so we were going through the list. I knew the ones that I typically buy, but she was, just, yes, reinforcing that, yes, those are the ones that she wants out again this year. So,
Well, and I think that's what really triggered the point in my mind that to us, it's just the things that we do.
mhm.
To them, it's the nostalgia and the memories that are being built that they'll be talking about 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. Like the reindeer mix that you build
Mhm.
with them.
So when I was growing up, there was a recipe that got floated around between all the moms, and it was reindeer mix, but all it had in it was nuts, and it was like some nuts that are odd to eat or find as well. And you were supposed to leave it
What's
out.
an odd nut to
Well,
find?
like
Like,
Brazil nuts are huge,
oh, yeah.
and you can't really, you can eat them, but they're like the ones that everyone moves to the side when you go through the. So you were supposed to leave it out for the reindeer, on Christmas Eve. When Tanner was probably 3, when I was like, you know what, I'm going to bring that back, but we're going to alter it the way that we want to alter it. And they must have been a little older because I asked each one of them, what would you want to put into the reindeer mix? So, yes, so we built our own reindeer mix, and I have been giving that as gifts
Yeah.
since that
We
time.
don't throw that in the yard.
No.
That goes into
No.
harmonies.
And it's good.
And what goes in
So
it?
basically, it's a sweet version of a Chex Mix. Oh, you're putting me on the spot. What all goes in it? It's got Golden Grams, Honey Nut Cheerios,
M&Ms?
and M&Ms. I was trying to think of the other
Pretzels.
I put raisins in it, even though the kids pick out the raisins.
Do you throw a
Reese's
caramel drop in
Pieces.
there?
Yes, the little caramel
Bites.
baking
Yeah,
ones that you
like
can
chocolate
buy.
chips, yeah.
Um,
It's good. And what's
yeah.
good is when you take a left hand of Texas trash and a right hand of reindeer mix.
Put them together.
Put your hands together.
Yeah, but they look forward to that one every year, and I still enjoy, handing that out to neighbors, friends, that kind of thing. Used to be teachers, but we don't do that anymore. So I guess they could take some to their professors, but that's an interesting question. Do people give their professors gifts? I guess if you have a special relationship, you would.
Okay.
I know.
All right. This was completely unplanned,
I know,
y'all.
yeah.
All right, listeners, viewers, we would like for y'all to let us know with your kids, if you've got them in university age or if they have already passed through that, did y'all give gifts to your professors?
Or if you are a professor, we probably have some out there that are
You want a
professors.
gift?
Have you
Tell
gotten
everybody.
gifts?
Oh, I like how you're saying that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Hit us up over at
Very
theloudquiet.com.
interesting. One final one that our kids are and it has to be made at every holiday. And if there's a extended family dinner planned, it has to be there. And I've mentioned it before, is my mom's mashed potato casserole. That if that is not there, I don't know what would happen. I mean, I even got them shirts one year that said, "We're just here for the mashed potatoes," because
it's good. It's real good.
Yeah.
It's real good.
It's their favorite.
And this is all holiday, right? But it got us to thinking about a whole nother category of the non-holiday foods that are meaningful. And there's actually a lot of these that we realized they've been lost.
Yeah.
Like things that we used to eat all the time, and we never even, I don't want to say never think about them anymore, but they're just not a part of the routine.
Yeah.
And they were so meaningful and important in the past.
And what's interesting is, like we said, we were talking with Brandy and Brian one night at dinner, and we just brought up foods that we used to eat. And it's so cool to see, even though we all grew up in different parts of Texas, these recipes kind of floated around that we all were like, oh, yeah, my mom used to make that. Oh, yeah. And a lot of them are casseroles.
I guess the cookbooks of the 70s and the 80s were casserole heavy, which would be our childhoods. And so, we different names for them. My mom made chicken tetrazzini, which is very similar to your family's chicken spaghetti. And I didn't even know what the word tetrazzini meant. You were telling me just yesterday.
Well, I mean, it's just another version of
Literally,
basically it's just a fancier name for pasta.
I got to tell you,
a pasta,
I thought it was just something
casserole.
my mom made up. Like, I did not know until yesterday that it was a real word.
I mean,
So
Well,
chicken.
okay, I don't know. I didn't look it up, but I just know.
But that one, you and I loved
Yeah,
chicken spaghetti. I loved my
yeah.
mom's chicken tetrazzini, and it just doesn't happen anymore.
And those recipes, I don't know if it was because the way my mom made it, I mean, it's a can of tomato soup, a can of cream of mushroom soup. You That's another thing. I would know that we were having chicken spaghetti because you could smell the boiling chicken when you came into the house.
Look at your face.
Ugh. That is the worst smell, that boiling chicken. And to where when I make something that's got shredded chicken in it now or something like that, I buy a rotisserie because then it has flavor, because boiled chicken does not have any flavor. So maybe that's why you had to put it into a casserole so that you
was
could
surrounded
eat it.
by flavor. It was just texture and protein, and the rest was flavor.
Yep. There were several of those kinds of recipes that were those casserole heavy, I guess maybe because it was just one thing and you're done. I don't know.
And you definitely get leftovers out of that because you
Yeah.
can make a mess of it and it can last for a while.
The Austin people that I knew, which includes you, they made King Ranch chicken, which was similar to, my mom called it chicken enchilada casserole.
Oh, okay.
And so, very similar dishes. And again, yeah, I mean, we used to have those on heavy rotation.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, now I think about that kind of dish and, oh, it's cold, let's have that.
Yeah.
It could be the depth of summer and you're still eating one of those big heavy dishes.
We had that all the time. And I've made chicken spaghetti a couple of times, but it's just not.
I don't know that our kids would even know to think of that as can we have that dish?
Yeah,
it's not a part
because
of
I did make it probably a couple of times when they were younger. And I think, too, the healthier side of cooking started to come out in the, probably late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, these aren't Mediterranean diet
these
foods.
were not high on the throw a block of cream cheese in there and some crushed up Doritos. And
I'm hearing Monica Geller from Friends talking about light mayonnaise. It's not mayonnaise, right? So it had to be full on lard back then. There's dishes that are from the past that were regulars that are showing up. They're just only showing up for special events.
Yes.
That the rice and broccoli is the one that I love, that dish.
Yeah.
It tends only to appear for Easter or some other kind of holiday or family gathering. It may have used to have been a Tuesday night dish.
Yeah, we used to have that, I'm sure, quite often. Again, we just don't. But yes, I make it every Easter. That's the dish that I always bring. And sometimes I know Tegan will request it on occasion sometimes. And so
even that, though, is a special, like she's back home.
Yeah, it's not in my regular rotation by any means.
Yeah.
Like for my older brother's favorite is pistachio salad, which if y'all don't know what that, and this goes back to, this was my grandmother's, my mama's dish. And it's like Jello, pistachio pudding, Cool Whip, and a can of crushed pineapple. So it's not anything, and marshmallows. So
that's such a 40s, 50s dish. Like when you think of that era, doesn't that sound like 40s and 50s?
I mean, you give my brother a Tupperware of that, he will eat the whole thing. So that shows up on holidays. And then I guarantee my mom, because I overheard them yesterday saying they were having roast last night, I guarantee pistachio salad was there.
Contact, your brother and his wife are in town for the holidays from Germany. And so I'm sure he's getting all
the things that he
can't get overseas.
And, I like it. You like it.
Oh, yeah.
But our kids don't. They don't like it. They're not big fans of it.
Yeah.
They don't like the texture of it, I think.
I think some of it is, I like it, but it's not the nostalgia. And so for your brother, it's nostalgia that gets in there. There's a dish that has a ton of nostalgia for me. I also know that I love it even outside of nostalgia. I would want this all the time, any day, and it's lasagna.
Yes.
The lasagna that you make based off of my mom's recipe is one of my favorite things to eat. I mentioned going through the entire Texas trash and the dozen tamales. I could put down a pan of lasagna.
Oh, yeah.
I bet I could eat it end to end.
Yes. I don't know that you could do that now, but definitely when we first
Is
started
that going to be an episode
dating,
challenge?
well, not one that I want to be around for. So, but, and I even know now, like when we were going to Austin and Tanner was coming with us too, and your sister was like, I'm making lasagna. How many pans do I need to make?
Because Tanner is
Yeah,
like
Tanner
me.
and
He'll
you
do that.
will,
I mean, he and I are the
yes.
Joey Chestnuts of lasagna.
And that is what he requests when, you know, that's his special dish too. I love to make it. I love to make it for y'all. I love it too. But I don't make it now because it's just the two of us. And yes, I know everyone's like, you can freeze it. I don't like freezing food and unfreeze. That's just my hang up. I don't like eating stuff after it's been frozen. So unless it's certain things. But like lasagna, no, I'm not going to eat it after it's been in the freezer.
And I wonder if that's a category of a lot of these dishes that we love that are a part of our past, but aren't a part of our present, that it may be just kind of the empty nest evolution
Yeah.
of, man, you're not going to make a pan of lasagna.
No.
Now, I realize I could eat the whole thing, but you're not going to want to do that.
Yeah. Because,
It's just
I
the
eat
two of
one
us.
square, you eat 2 or 3, and then you have 3/4 of the pan left
Yeah.
that is just waste.
Which is why I think it's great when you do have those regathering moments to be able to bring those dishes back in.
And we have, like I said, Tanner loves it. Tegan, nope, not a fan.
Yeah.
She just wants, when I make it when she's home, I have to just keep out 2 plain noodles, and that's what she likes to eat. Because I didn't serve a lot of casseroles growing up, she doesn't like food when it's mashed together like that, unless it's rice and broccoli. That's about pretty much, I think, one of the only ones that she'll
It'd be
eat.
interesting to inventory her.
But yeah, you know, that's you talking about your mom making lasagna. My mom, which came from my grandmommy, who is my other grandmother, made spaghetti and meatballs.
Oh, yeah.
And so we would have spaghetti and meatballs. That was always my dad's request. When he would get to choose what we were having, he would have spaghetti and meatballs. You know, that's one thing that differentiates my family from yours, is that your family always had the same meal on Christmas every year.
Yeah.
Mine did not. We kind of rotated through, well, let's do Italian this year. Let's do this year. And so now you and I have established we have a meal that we have every year.
And we truly only do that meal at Christmas. There's no other time that we do it.
Yeah, which again,
because
we could. Well, no, because again, we could, but you have to have enough people over to eat a how many ever pound tenderloin.
5-pound tenderloin, yeah.
So, but yes, spaghetti and meatballs was always one that was in my family, and yes, you could smell the sauce cooking. And again, it wasn't like they made anything. They weren't making their own, peeling tomatoes, those kind of things. It was Hunt's, and it still is one that, and I think even my grandmommy back then, I think she used ragu. So,
all of our Italian listeners are
they're
just
dying.
punching
I know.
their dashboard right now.
And I apologize. I am sorry, but but when I make it, and again, though, it's a dish that you can't just make 4 meatballs.
It's good though. I do. And I love it when these show up. And that's what's kind of fun to think back to all of these nostalgia dishes, whether they're Christmas oriented, whether they're just family getting back together. We love food. We love family. And we love mixing family and food. And I think that's why these dishes are just so special.
I think food is a common denominator that can just bring people together. Most of our social activities are over food.
Yeah.
It's nice to just sit around a table, enjoy something good, and just get to talk and connect with everyone.
Yeah.
And especially, this time of year is really about that connection, remembering, sharing fun memories, laughing. This is just a good time of year to sit around a table, have some Texas trash, and enjoy time together. We hope that you guys will continue to have a great December. Share with us if any of these foods resonated with you. Share with us
Yeah.
on the Facebook community group. Again, you can join that if you go to our website, theloudquiet.com. There's a button at the top that says Facebook community. We'd love to hear from you guys. And thanks for joining us on another episode of The Loud Quiet.